You know that feeling when you finish a chapter or a movie and you just know there's something more going on, something hiding just beneath the surface? Well, today, we're going to go way beyond a simple plot summary. We are cracking open the Storyteller's Toolbox to see what really makes any story, from a blockbuster movie to a single book chapter, truly tick.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by building our analytical toolkit. Then we'll move through plot, character, and the worlds they live in, all the way to those little sparks that make a story really shine. If you stick with us, I promise you are going to walk away with a brand new superpower for understanding the stories you love.
To really get what's happening in a big pivotal story, and you know what? Let's use the first act of Star Wars: A New Hope as our example today. You need more than just a casual watch. You need a set of special analytical lenses to see all the hidden machinery that makes the whole thing work.
It's a super common feeling, right? The action is over, the characters have said their lines, but there's this echo, a deeper meaning that you can't quite grab onto. That's exactly what we're hunting for today, the why behind the what.
And this is where our toolkit comes into play. We've boiled it all down to a really powerful 7-part framework. Think of them as 7 different pairs of glasses, and each pair is designed to reveal a totally unique and essential layer of any story you pick up.
All right, first up is probably the most unique tool in our whole kit. This one asks you to stop thinking like you're just a reader and start thinking like a creator. We're talking about the strategist's eye.
This lens is all about innovation. It's not just about what happened, but what could happen next. It's about spotting those connections that aren't so obvious, those hidden threads that might hint at future plot twists or much deeper patterns.
So if we apply this to A New Hope, ask yourself, when Obi-Wan lets Darth Vader strike him down, is that just him losing a fight? Or is it a brilliant strategic sacrifice to push Luke forward and become, more powerful than you can possibly imagine? It's all about seeing the story's hidden potential.
Okay, next up we have the twin engines that drive pretty much every great story forward: plot progression and character development. Now, you can't really have one without the other, but it is so important to look at them separately.
So think of it like this. Plot is the series of external events. The droids escape with the Death Star plans. The Millennium Falcon gets attacked. That's the what. But character development, that's the internal journey. Luke Skywalker going from farm boy to deciding he's got to leave and embrace his destiny. One is what happens to the characters, the other is what happens inside them.
Now, when you're analyzing the plot, you basically become a detective. You're just looking for cold, hard evidence. What's the key event in this scene? Okay, the destruction of Alderaan. Now, how does that push the main story forward? Well, it immediately establishes the stakes and shows us just how ruthless the villain is. See?
And for character, you switch hats. Now you're a psychologist. You're tracking their internal world. So why does Han Solo come back to help Luke in that final battle? It's proof of his growth, right? From a cynical smuggler to a true hero. You're always looking for that evidence of change.
Now we get to the good stuff, the elements that really give a story its soul. These are the things that make a story feel rich and immersive, and why it sticks with you long after it's over: the world itself and its deeper meanings.
Seriously, think about your all-time favorite stories. It's not just about the plot, is it? No way. It's the feeling of being in that world and the big ideas it makes you think about. And that's exactly what we're digging into with our next 2 tools: world building and thematic analysis.
World building is how the author really colors in the map of their world for you. I mean, think about the Mos Eisley Cantina. We don't just get told about it, we see all the different wild alien species. We hear that iconic music. You can feel the tension in the air. Every little detail makes the world of Tatooine feel absolutely real and lived in.
This tool helps us find the story's heart. Themes are the big ideas. In Star Wars, it's stuff like hope versus despair, technology versus nature, and the classic struggle for freedom against tyranny. These are the universal truths the story's really digging into. The key here is to look for how these themes are shown to us. Have you ever noticed the recurring symbol of the lightsaber, representing a more civilized, forgotten age? Or how the simple faith of a single X-Wing pilot can take down a massive battle station? That's the story winking at you, telling you what it's really all about.
All right, on to the final 2 tools in our kit. And these often provide that unique flavor of a story, the things that make it completely unforgettable, the fantastical and the funny.
So if you're watching fantasy or sci-fi, this one is crucial. It's not enough for a story to just say, the Force exists. You have to ask, well, how does it work? We learned that it binds the galaxy together, but it also requires training and belief.
Luke can't just lift an X-Wing right away. It's the rules of the impossible that actually create the stakes and the tension. And finally, never, ever underestimate humor. It is so rarely there for just a cheap laugh. Think about Han Solo. Right after a huge shootout, he grabs the intercom and says, "Boring conversation anyway." That one joke, in a moment of high tension, tells you everything you need to know about his cocky, anti-authority character. It's brilliant.
And there you have it, the complete 7-piece Storyteller's Toolkit. By using these lenses, you're not just a passive consumer of a story anymore. Oh no, you're an active participant. You're engaging with it on a way, way deeper level.
This slide right here, this is your complete cheat sheet. All 7 tools, the main question each one asks, and exactly why it matters. From spotting hidden connections with the creative strategist lens to analyzing the real purpose of a joke, this is your new guide to a much richer, more insightful reading experience. When it comes right down to it, this whole framework is your new superpower. It doesn't matter if you're a writer working on your craft or just a fan who wants to appreciate your favorite stories even more, this toolkit gives you the power to see the architecture hiding just beneath the art. And that, right there, is the real adventure. The next time you pick up a book or turn on a movie, just try looking at it through one of these lenses. I think you're going to be shocked at the secrets you uncover. So what story are you going to analyze first?